Hello, today we're going to be talking about estimating sums. And if you'll notice, here on the screen I have our math message for today. And we have a problem that is discussing some possible distances between different cities, a world tour, where the airline is going to give you $200 discount coupon for every 15,000 miles you fly. So suppose that you have flown the distances shown in the table. Have you flown enough miles to get a discount coupon? Describe the strategy you used to solve the problem. So first of all, take a look at those numbers, the mileage between each city. Think about how you would go about figuring out the answer to this question. Pause the video for a second so you can go ahead and calculate that on your note sheet, and then resume when you get done. So what methods did you use? Did you use the exact numbers and come up with an exact answer? Did you use a calculator? Did you use some kind of estimation or rounding? Well, you could add the thousands, and if we did that, we would get 11,000. We could add the hundreds, and we would get 2,000. When we add those together, actually we're not going to add the tens, but when we add those together, we would get 13,000. Looking at that number and thinking about what they asked us, would we get the coupon? No, it's too short. Did we have to find the exact total to find the answer to that question? No, we did not. Okay, so what are we going to be doing today? Well, today you're going to have a picture similar like the one on the left that looks like a crazy map there with all kinds of lines on it. And then you're going to have your page in your SMJ that looks like the one on the right. And you're going to use the map picture to answer the questions in your journal. Now, how do I use the map picture is probably what you're wondering. So in the directions, it's going to ask you to pick some cities, where you're going and where you're leaving from and where you're going to. And you'll notice that we have some lines. So for example, if I look at St. Louis to Chicago, if you find that on the map there, we have a number on top of the line and we have a number below the line. The number on top tells you how many miles it is roughly between those two cities. The number on the bottom tells you the amount of time that it's going to take. So for me to travel from St. Louis to Chicago, it's going to be about 302 miles to get there, and it's going to take me roughly 5 hours and 40 minutes. So what you'll be doing in your book is you're going to be writing down some destinations, recording the number of miles, recording the time that it's going to take you, and then in the last column they want you to round the number, or the time, round the time that it's going to take you. So we're going to think of that kind of like a decimal. If I had 5 hours and 40 minutes, I'm going to think of it like 5.4. Okay, if that makes sense. And so if I think of 5.4, that is past the half mark of an hour. So if I were going to round that, I would round it to 6 hours. Okay, a little bit different than normal rounding with decimals because we usually look at the 5. If it's 5 or higher, we round up. If it's less than 5, it stays the same. But since we're talking time, we're going to think about the hour is 60 minutes, so half of that would be 30. So anything 30 or above, we're going to round to the next hour. If it's less than 30 minutes, then we will keep it at the same hour. Okay, so let's look at another one. If we were going to leave from Louisville and go to Chicago, on the map there it says it's going to take 294 miles, and it's going to take time-wise 5 hours and 35 minutes. So that 35 minutes is more than half, so that means I am going to round that to 6 hours. So I'm going to do some examples on the next page. And I'm going to give you some driving miles and driving time, and then we're going to talk about how would we estimate the amount of time. So in my first example, if I have 306 miles, and let's say that it's going to take me 5 hours and 30 minutes, what would my estimated time be? That means I need to round my 5 hours and 30 minutes to a whole number. Would it be 5 hours or would it be 6 hours? If you said 6 hours, you would be correct, because the 30-minute mark is halfway. So that means I go to the next number. Let's look at the next one. I have 415 miles. My driving time is 7 hours and 50 minutes. So that 50 is past the half mark of 30. So am I going to stay at 7, or am I going to say it's 8 hours? Correct answer is 8 hours. Okay, let's look at the next one. We have 280 miles, and I said the driving time is 5 hours and 25 minutes. Now, is that one going to be 5 hours or is it going to be 6 hours? Look at your minutes. I'm not halfway because I did not make the 30-minute mark. I'm less than 30 minutes. So that means that it would be 5 hours. Okay? Alright, so with that information that we had on the last screen, could we estimate driving distances? Is there a way to estimate driving distances? Yes, there is. Now, how would we do it? We would round each number to the nearest 100. So, for example, if it were 306 miles, I would round that to 300 miles. If it were 450 miles, I would round it to 500 miles. So let's summarize what we have done in this lesson. We learned that we don't always have to have an exact total, that sometimes, especially in life, we often will round or estimate so that we can get a good idea. We learned we can estimate times and distances. And we also learned that rounding and estimating can be useful tools to help us answer an assortment of problems. If you have questions, please write them down in your notes, and I will see you in class. Thanks for watching.